Alright, what's going on, guys? I just finished the manga chapters that should constitute Season 3 of Beastars. Now, if we go by the model of the first 2 seasons, I'm roughly thinking there will be about 50 chapters in Season 3, and considering we ended at chapter 98 for Season 2, we'll probably end around 146, 148 for Season 3. But with that said, I feel like once again this is a great opportunity to look back at all the best moments from the hypothetical Season 3 of Beastars and go over my 10 most shocking moments that occurred. And again, if you have not read the manga, what the hell are you doing with your life there? You can't go outside with coronavirus, so you might as well stay inside and read some freaking Beastars. It's awesome! But in all seriousness, if you have not read the manga, I would advise reading it first before watching this video. Or if you're just into being entertained and you want to be spoiled, I don't blame you. It's a great freaking series. But with that said, guys, let's get right into it with shocking moment number 1. Legosi pulls out his own teeth. Yafya, the current Beastar, patrols the city with his 350 degrees of vision. This allows him to identify egregious abuses of law and enact swift changes, like when he improved the working conditions at a Carnivore-run milking facility. But without the aid of his partner, he could not actuate his ideal form of justice. Legosi, as it just so happens, was the reason Yafya's partner decided to abandon his life of vigilantism. Angered by Legosi's intrusion, Yafya proceeds to denigrate the young wolf because he ate the flesh of a live herbivore, i.e. Lewis from Season 2. And if you don't remember this moment, make sure to watch my previous video on the 10 most shocking moments of Season 2 to refresh your memory, thus resulting in a scene where he demands Legosi to apologize for being born a carnivore via getting on his knees and groveling for forgiveness. After complying with Yafya's demand, Legosi decides to yank his fangs out of his mouth, one by one, symbolizing his refusal to be labeled a monstrous carnivore. Now, if you haven't read the manga, you may be wondering how Legosi got in between Yafya and his partner. Well, it turns out Yafya's partner was none other than Legosi's grandfather, Gosha. Which brings us to shocking moment number 2. Yafya and Gosha used to fight crime together. As precocious high schoolers, Yafya and Gosha excelled at catching criminals and cleaning up the city in their free time. Because of their friendship and dedication to justice, they aspired to become co-Beastars. However, all of that changed one fateful night when Gosha saved a young gray wolf from a group of assailants, causing him to fall head over heels for the gray wolf. It was love at first sight, which gives hope to men everywhere, because no matter how quote-unquote ugly or poisonous you may think you are, someone out there may still love you. Get it? Because he secretes poison? Anywho, after Gosha slithered his dragon into the wolf den, and subsequently getting the female gray wolf pregnant, he decided to retire from his vigilante life in exchange for raising his daughter. A daughter that would be an interspecies animal, half wolf, half Komodo dragon, in a society that typically shuns that sort of thing. Luckily for Leano, i.e. Legosi's mom, she did not resemble her father Gosha in any discernible fashion, allowing her to live a life as she saw fit, until her body began to metamorphosize in ways she could not fathom. This brings us to our third most shocking moment. Legosi's mother, Leano, body slowly grows reptilian scales. Leano was a beautiful gray wolf. I mean, downright gorgeous. The type of woman that if you'd see on the street, you'd want to bang. I mean, give a nice flower to and compliment her on how good she looks. But after reaching adulthood, scales emerged on her back and eventually began popping out everywhere on her body. Due to her conscientious attitude to her looks, she became a shut-in and eventually isolated herself from Legosi. Subsequently, her only interactions with her son were via touching him through a hole in the door, a process that was therapeutic for Leano because she could provide some form of care towards her son, but at the same time worrisome because she inspected Legosi's fur to discern whether or not he displayed any signs of Komodo dragon. It was a heart-wrenching couple of pages to read, especially considering how one's own self-image can destroy their internal psyche and the relationships around them, leading to a path of despair and potentially suicide, which is the fate for Leano, as she could no longer withstand the quote-unquote grotesque changes to her body. Shocking moment number 4. Lewis reclaims his position as the Shishigumi boss. The Shishigumi allowed Melon, half gazelle, half leopard, into their organization as their new leader. But due to Melon's restrictions on meat consumption, in which the lions could only partake in meat twice a month, the various lions began to contemplate bringing Lewis back into the fold. Of course, Lewis, seeing the whole Shishigumi adventure as a misstep in his life, was not interested in the least by this proposition, until Legosi proved himself to the Shishigumi and convinced their members to reach out to Lewis once again so that he could resume his role in their quest of taking down Melon. It's getting to the point now where I feel like every 30 or 40 chapters, Lewis either joins or leaves the Shishigumi. Maybe this time he'll eventually stay in that role, especially considering he seems to thrive in it, and it makes him quite happy. Shocking moment number 5. Juno and Lewis love each other. Interspecies relationships are all the rage in high school, or so I've been told, and considering Lewis and Juno had a somewhat playful moment in Season 1 and a romantic dance in Season 2, it was only a matter of time before one of them embraced the sexual tension. This happened via a kiss in which Juno took the lead and planted it right on Lewis without warning. And although Lewis dismissed it at first, and he tried to conceal his feelings, he couldn't help but feel mesmerized and attached to the young gray wolf. In fact, he thought about Juno when he was supposed to be having sex with his future wife. But given Lewis's obligations to overtake his father in the family business and the hardships of raising a half-breed, it remains to be seen whether this type of relationship can work out in the given constructs of the current society. Shocking moment number 6. Animals roleplay as other animals. Given the multitude of erotic fetishes in human culture, it only seemed right that anthropomorphic animals would fantasize about being with different species to act out their deep, dark desires. Carnivores pretend to be herbivores, herbivores pretend to be carnivores, and Legosi acts like he's still in the 70s. Of course, for the carnivores to mitigate their predatorial desires, they must intake enough alcohol to dull their senses. But if they do so, they are in for one hell of a party. Shocking moment number 7. Half-breeds are deeply conflicted. Legosi's mother, Leano, as we discussed earlier, was deeply conflicted when her body unexpectedly began to change. However, there is another individual in the story who is not only a half-breed, but half carnivore, half herbivore. Marin's the name. Scratch that. Melon it is. Melon is a half gazelle, half leopard that feels maligned by society. Because of his gazelle blood, he feels fear in the presence of other carnivores. And because of his carnivorous leopard blood, he also feels an innate urge to kill. This whole concept harkens to biracial children in the current culture, because even though we're accepting of marriages among the races, particularly in America with the Great Melting Pot, it's still quite difficult even nowadays, because biracial children face many challenges that children of one race do not have to face. Simply because some of them may have a hard time identifying as one race, and subsequently may be shut out from other races in which they share blood with due to the fact that they are of mixed blood, which makes them feel maligned by society, causing anxiety, depression, and a feeling of loneliness. And this is very much the case for Melon. And this is something that Legosi is starting to understand as well, because as he begins to understand more and more about Melon, he's beginning to realize that if he does pursue the relationship he wants with Haru, gets married, and has children, his children may have some unforeseen difficulties that he cannot predict, making their lives harder than he could ever imagine. And of course, this will be the subject of a lot of contemplation for Juno and Lewis as well, because if Lewis decides to pursue Juno in the way she's pursuing him, they will also have to weigh the risks and the benefits of having an interspecies child. Shocking moment number 8. Yafya uses carnivore carcasses to vitalize his garden. As the reigning Beastar, no wish is beyond your attainment, and as such, Yafya proceeds to use carnivore carcasses to vitalize his garden. This allows his carrots to have certain nutrients that are able to uplift and power him to such levels that he can fight almost any adversary that comes in his way. Of course, due to the fact that he is using the desecrated bodies of certain carnivores, he has gained the reputation of being the Black Devil in the black market, and many people see him as a blight on society and want to eliminate him altogether. Something that Legosi sees firsthand as he's making his way to the Beastar Tower. Shocking moment number 9. Legosi ends up on the Predatorial offender list. After the events of Season 2, in which Legosi ate Lewis's foot and then subsequently defeated Riz, he got caught by the police and ended up going to jail for a couple of days. Afterwards, he talked to a counselor in which he informed him about the new rules and regulations that he would have to follow, one of which being that he now landed himself on the Predatorial offender list, which forbade him from doing certain activities in public, one of which included not being able to marry an herbivore, which caused Legosi great emotional stress and turmoil. Because Legosi's whole plan was to make Haru his girlfriend and eventually marry her. But due to this new dictate, society will not allow him to marry her unless he does it behind the eyes of the government. And this is primarily the reason why Legosi gets caught up with Yafya in the first place. Besides the fact that he's Gosha's grandson, it's because Yafya knows that he's dating a small female rabbit. And for him to execute his plans of getting married one day, he's going to have to find a way to abolish his name from the Predatorial offender list. Therefore, Yafya uses Legosi's services as he sees fit to gain the 10 degrees of vision that he was missing when Gosha left him. And this whole concept of the Predatorial offender list is very much akin to the sexual offender lists that we see in today's society, and how one bad choice can literally ruin your entire life. The prospect of getting a job, getting into university, finding someone who you want to spend the rest of your life with can be destroyed in literally a couple of mere moments. It's a cautionary tale that serves as a reminder that we need to be careful with the choices that we make and always keep our emotions in check. And finally, shocking reason number 10 for Season 3 of Beastars is... Legosi takes Haru to the black market. You mean to like eat her or something? You know, like a shish kebab? No, not that. She just wanted to see what's going on with the black market. She's very curious about how carnivores conduct themselves in a place where herbivores are shunned. And it's a very eye-opening experience that gives her new insight into the world, and a greater appreciation for Legosi's innate urges that he cannot control very easily. I must warn you though, this is a very solemn, emotional scene that may take your breath away and will leave you in an absolute state of awe and horror. It's just another fine example of Paru Itagaki showing that in one moment she can make you laugh, in the next she can make you cry, and then finally she can horrify you beyond all belief. Just so many wonderful juxtapositions in Beastars, and Season 3 was no exception. I absolutely love these last 50 manga chapters, and as I catch up to the current manga chapters, I will plan on releasing weekly videos on when the chapters come out and giving my reactions so I can keep you guys updated on everything Beastars related, and you can get my thoughts and feelings on what's going on. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Beastars Season 3 Top 10 Most Shocking Moments, and tell me what your thoughts were on Season 3 of Beastars, the manga chapters. what were some of your favorite moments that occurred? They might not be so much shocking, but just something that you thought was cool or an interesting little character development. We got a lot of new characters in Season 3 as well, which I didn't mention. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys can like and share this video. Subscribe as well, that's always appreciated. But until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.